Fractions, Decimals and Percentages, Video 2. Before watching this video, please watch Fractions, Decimals and Percentages, Video 1. You will remember that a half is worth the same as 0.5 and the same as 50%. A quarter is worth the same as 0.25 or 25%. 3/4 is the same value as 0.75 or 75%. Look at the fraction 2/5. There are several ways to convert this to a decimal or a percentage, but here we're going to see a way that will work with any fraction. The top number of the fraction is of course the numerator and the bottom number is the denominator. To change the fraction to a decimal, we divide the numerator by the denominator. So the numerator is written inside the bus shelter and the denominator on the outside. 5 into 2 won't go, so we write a 0 on the answer line. We write a decimal point and a 0 in the tens column, and we put a decimal point on the answer line. Then consider the 2 and the 0 together as 20 tenths. 5 into 20 goes 4 times, so we write 4 in the tenths column of the answer. So the fraction 2/5 is worth the same as 0.4. To change a decimal to a percentage, simply multiply by 100. So we can see that 2/5 has the same value as 0.4 or 40%. Here's another example. We're going to convert the fraction 3/8 to a decimal and then to a percentage. So it's the numerator divided by the denominator. Put a decimal point and some zeros after the point. We can write as many zeros as we need, and if we don't have enough, we can write some more. Put a matching decimal point on the answer line. 8 into 3 won't go, so there's a 0 on the answer line. Look at the 3 and the 0 together as 30 tenths. How many 8s in 30? There are 3 because 3/8 are 24, so we've got 6 left over out of the 30, and we put that with the next 0. How many 8s in 60? There are 7 with 4 left over. How many 8s in 40? There are 5. So 3/8 is worth the same as 0.375 multiplied by 100 to find that it's also worth the same as 37.5%. Now look at this example. Numerator divided by denominator, so 1 divided by 3. Put a decimal point and some zeros. Don't forget we can put as many zeros as we like. It's also a good idea to write the decimal point on the answer line so that we don't forget it. 3 into 1 won't go, so there's a 0 on the answer line. 3 into 10 goes 3 times with 1 left over. Put the 1 with the next 0 to make 10. 3 into 10 goes 3 times with 1 left over. 3 into 10 goes 3 times with 1 left over. We could write some more zeros because we can put as many as we like, but we can see that the decimal answer we're getting is 0.3 recurring. The 3's will go on forever, so we have to decide to stop somewhere. We write the answer as 0.3 with a dot over the 3. This dot is used to show that the 3 is recurring. When we multiply by 100, we have to remember that there are lots of 3's, so the percentage answer is 33.3 to 1 decimal place. Here's another example. We need 2 divided by 7 with a decimal point and lots of zeros and a decimal point on the answer line. 7 into 2 won't go, so put a 0 on the answer line. Now, how many 7's in 20? There are 2 with 6 left over. 7 into 60 goes 8 times because 8 7's are 56 and there's 4 left over. 7 into 40 goes 5 times with 5 left over. 7 into 50 goes 7 times with 1 left over. There's 1 7 in 10 with 3 left over. 7 into 30 goes 4 times with 2 left over. There are 2 7's in 20 with 6 left over. There are 8 7's in 60. But look, the numbers are repeating. We've already had 2 and 8 on the answer line, and if we continue, the next number will be 5, then 7, then 1, then 4, and 2, and 8, and so on. This is a recurring decimal. We write the answer as 0.285714 with a dot over the 2 and a dot over the 4 to show that this complete string of numbers will keep recurring forever. To express this decimal as a percentage, multiply by 100. This would give 28.571428, but we round it to 28.6% to 1 decimal place. Pause the video while you try these. Remember to convert each fraction to a decimal, then just multiply by 100 to convert to a percentage. Here are the answers. Question A needs the numerator 3 to be divided by the denominator 5. 5 into 3 won't go, so put a 0 on the answer line, followed by a decimal point. 5 into 30 goes 6 times exactly, so we finished, and we don't need those other zeros. So the decimal is 0.6, and multiplied by 100 to get 60%. Question B, 1 divided by 8. 8 into 1 won't go, so put a 0 and a decimal point. 8 into 10 goes 1 with 2 left over. 8 into 20 goes 2 with 4 left over. 8 into 40 goes 5 exactly. The decimal is 0.125, which is 12.5%. Question C, 2 divided by 3. 3 into 2 won't go, so put a 0 and a decimal point. 3 into 20 goes 6 times with 2 left over. So it's 3 into 20 again, which is 6 with 2 left over again, so 6 on the top line, and you can see that this one is a recurring decimal. We write the answer as 0.6 with a dot over the 6 to show it's recurring. Multiply by 100 to get 66.6 recurring percent, but we can round that up to 66.7%.